Good morning, friends. Long time no see. How are we doing today? So, just to give you a recap on the past Thursday, Friday, 3 days. I'm just gonna record you guys this raw, uncut video. It is currently 7:16 in the morning. I have been up since 6 o'clock because my cats are assholes. But I did fall asleep like around 11:30 last night, so I do still feel tired, but I think it's just from the cold. Well, not cold, from the allergies. So, So Wednesday night, well, here's the thing. It started on Wednesday afternoon. I was outside at recess with the kids. We were all playing in the leaves, okay? We were playing in the leaves. And I noticed that my throat started getting really scratchy. And my nose started to itch. And I'm like, meh. I was like, okay, well, it's whatever. The doctor said I had allergies. Because mind you, I just went to the doctor's Monday night or Monday after work. I ran up there and they had told me, I went to the doctor's and she's like, oh yeah, you've had a headache. It's not your blood pressure. She's like, you have a headache because of your sinuses. She's like, you're all clogged up and it's not moving. She's like, that's why you've had a headache for the past however many days. She's like, it ain't got nothing to do with your blood pressure. So I was like, oh, okay. So keep that in mind. So she told me that it's all just sitting up in here. She says, you need to get it moving. And then she told me, she gave me the Flonase and the Claritin. She told me Claritin's now going to be my new best friend. To take Claritin and Flonase. And I said, okay, cool. And she's like, and that'll help start moving stuff around. She's like, it'll take a few days to start working, but once it starts working, you'll know. I'm like, okay. Fast forward now to Wednesday. So I took my Claritin and Flonase, not the prescription Flonase, but the regular Flonase. And because my prescription wasn't ready. Took my Claritin, we had extra Flonase, like the over-the-counter Flonase in the hallway closet. So I got my own and started taking Claritin. Took it Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night when I got home. I made a piece of 647 bread. I put 2 pieces of cheese on it. Now, it was like 2 pieces left in this tray. It was like already pre-sliced. Hubby said it made him sick, but I didn't think nothing of it. And at this point, I had already started getting congested. And I'm just like, well, I was at the when we were at the funeral home, it was so cold in there. Like, I was so cold the whole time. Like, it was cold outside. And then I was freezing. Like, I had changed my clothes, but I probably should have wore something warmer. But I wasn't thinking about that at the time because I was just trying to look fly. But yeah, so I know you're probably like, right, you're trying to look fly at a funeral. If you only knew. If you only knew the history with whatever. Anyway. I can do a story time another day on that if you guys are interested. If so, let me know down in the comments. So, I went to the viewing, and like I said, it was freezing. I was like shivering in there. Like, I was just like, God, it's so cold. I was making really terrible jokes. I was like, it's so cold in here. Like, someone died. My girlfriend just started cracking up laughing. Anyway, and then, so I had that going on, and then I came home, and I ate these last 2 pieces of cheese. I made, Pinkies, come on. Every time I put chapstick on, you want to come up here. I came home, I made a piece of 647 bread in a toaster. I put the 2 pieces of cheese on it because I was a little hungry. And I put a little bit of mayonnaise, folded it up, and ate it. That's like my ghetto grilled cheese. That's what I've always called it, is my ghetto grilled cheese. And so that's what I made it. And so I made that, and then all of a sudden I started feeling sick. Like, I was still cold though, so mind you, I'm still like, I got like the chills. Like, I couldn't get warm, but I just figured from being outside, being in the funeral home, like, you know, sometimes you get like that chill to the bone and you can't get warm. That's just what I thought it was. So I go upstairs, I change my clothes, I put my nightgown on. I tell my son, I'm like, hey, I'm going upstairs to lay down. I said, Mommy's cold. I said, I'm gonna go bundle up. I go watch some TV. And he's like, okay, Mom. Well, I start dumping like bad. I'm like, it's like, what is up with this cheese? Mind you, it is the Great Value cheese, and it is not the Cracker Barrel cheese, sliced cheese. And so I started getting sick. And I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, I started dumping. But then insert the shakes and the chills and the uncontrollable shaking. Like, I was shaking so bad. And like, my eyes started getting hot. I can always know when I get a fever because my eyes get so hot. Like, I can close them. It's like they're burning. And I was just like, what the fuck? I was like, I got a fever? I was like, why do I have a fever? So I legit had a fever, and I was like, what the hell? And so I called my son, and I was like, baby, can you please bring Mom? Because my one fleece blanket was down here. I said, can you please bring me my blanket? I said, Mommy has a fever. I said, Mommy doesn't feel good. I can't get warm. Can you come? So he came upstairs and he tucked me in. And he's like, Mom, are you okay? And because I don't think he's really ever seen me shake like that. And so he was a little worried. And I said, it's just what happens when you get a fever. And he's like, okay. He's like, are you sure you're okay? I said, yeah. I said, it happens to all of us. And he's like, okay. So and then I was like up and down all night. Like, I did text hubby and let him know what was going on because they were at their little concert. So with said friend and her husband and like some other friends, and just like whatever. So so they were at the concert, and I texted him. I said, listen, I'm dumping. I was like, I have a fever. I don't know what's going on. I was like, I feel like shit. Blah, 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 blah. And he's like, okay. And he's like, yeah, that cheese made me sick too. Yada, yada, yada. And I was just like, yeah. I was like, I've been cold all night. I was like, maybe it'll just pass. Whatever, whatever. Come like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I woke up. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't breathe. Like, there was so much pressure and pain in my face, in my eyes, in my head. I had a headache from fucking hell. Like, my head hurt so bad. My ears were so clogged, and I couldn't breathe out of either side of my nose. It was like bad. And my shakes and stuff, I still had a fever, but the chills and everything had stopped. So I was like, okay, cool, at least that stopped, you know. And so hubby's like, there's no way you can go to work. And I was like, no. And he's just like, you're fine. He's like, they probably don't want you to come to work anyway. So just relax, stay home, whatever, whatever. And I was like, all right. So I called my teacher because I was like up and down. I called her, let her know, and I just went right back to sleep. Like I said, when I said headache from hell, I'm like, I legitimately had a headache from hell. okay? My fucking head, like migraine times can't breathe, okay? Like my head hurt so bad. I ended up sleeping till 11 o'clock. And I got up at 11. I was so sore. I was so stiff because I was in bed for 12 hours. If I look at my sleep thing, it said I was sleeping for 12 hours. Like there was some times that shows you like when you're awake. But I was like legit in bed for 12 hours. I still had a fever most of the day. And until like sometime in the afternoon. Like around 2 or something. I think I finally realized that I didn't have a fever anymore. So I literally did nothing on Thursday. I went from the bed. I didn't even, like, I hardly ate. Like, I barely drank. Well, I was forcing myself to drink. I didn't even have chai tea on Thursday. Because all I could think about was milk in my stomach with a fever and making curdled milk in my stomach. That's what I think about when I have a fever and dairy. And so I didn't, like, eat anything. Like, I didn't want anything. Like, I had no appetite. Like, no appetite. And I went from the bed to the couch. I slept on the couch, went back to my desk. I played Roblox. I had, like, my day where I did nothing. Unfortunately, I was sick. I couldn't enjoy it because I was fucking miserable. I was taking Tylenol every, like, 4 hours. And my headache finally started to subside, but I still had the pain, the congestion, everything. I did call my doctors, and they were like, you were just in here on Monday. I said, yeah, and now I'm sick. And she says, welcome to the world of allergies. She's like, all that gunk in your head is finally moving. Yay. And I'm like my eyes twitching. I don't know if I can do it right, but I was like, oh, so that's what's happening. That's why I feel like death right now. And then I said, well, how do you explain the fever though? Like, is it not a sinus infection or something? And she says, no. She says, your body may have thought, she's like, whatever's moving finally, she said, your body is trying, she's like, maybe your like body thinks it's a sinus infection because whatever's going on and whatever's finally fucking moving, she's like, your body's trying to fight it off. Because she's like, when I looked up your nose, she said, you were so inflamed. And she's like, but you're so dry at the same time. She's like, I don't even think you realize how inflamed. She's like, well, I can see up there. But she's like, well, I guess she can see better because of this nostril. And she's like, but you were so inflamed. She's like, everything was literally just trapped inside your head, causing all the headaches and stuff. And I was just like, oh. And she's like, so it's finally moving. And I was like, oh, okay. So she was just like, did your fever break? And I said, yeah. And she's like, yeah, it's literally, she's like, just keep up with the, she said, just keep up with the Claritin and the Flonase. And I did get the call that my Flonase, because I told her at that point I was only taking the over-the-counter one. I had to go get my prescription one, which had just came in on Wednesday. But I was like, I'll get it, whenever, before they put it back. And she's like, no, you need that. Hold on, I had to blow my nose. Okay, sorry about that. I had to blow my nose. Anyway, so I ended up sleeping like almost all night, Wednesday night and Thursday night and a Friday. So I was talking to hubby though before I went to sleep, and I said, listen, I was like, I think I'm just gonna stay home tomorrow. And he's like, no, you should. He's like, I don't think you can go back anyway. He's like, if your fever just broke this afternoon, he's like, I don't think you can go back till you're 24 hours fever free anyway. So I text my teacher. I said, listen, I think I'm just going to play it safe, and I'm not going to come in on Friday or tomorrow, And she's like, no, I totally get it. And I was like, yeah, it's like, I don't not come in to, for no reason. And she's like, yeah, totally. So I was like, okay. So, Friday, so I was talking to hubby, Thursday night. And I was just like, wow, I need to do my girlfriend's cake. And he's like, well, just see how you feel. He's like, if not, he's like, if you don't want to do it, just call her and say, listen, I'm sick, I can't do the cake. And I said, yeah, but I could really use the money because my bank account, I went Christmas shopping and it is at like $20. Like, that's all I have in my bank account. That's it. And he was just like, I was like, and we're like gonna be going to all these like little Christmas shops, and we're going out to lunch, and we're doing this and we're doing that. And he's just like, well, he's like, then do the cake. He's just like, you know. So I was like, all right. So I got up. I actually woke up early. I don't remember what time it was, but I got up pretty early. Like, I slept. And, or was that the night I only slept? No, yesterday I slept 4 hours. I don't know why. Oh, I do know why. Anyway, I'm getting there. I'm sorry, guys. I know I'm all over the place. It's like a 3-day recap. And you know my brain does not hold information and process information. Anyway, even with my daily shit. Like, anyway, so Friday I get up early. I bake the cake. And I'm like, okay. I bake the cake. I get my life together. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, I just did not feel like doing it. I was just like, oh, and Friday morning, I blew my nose. So I got up Friday morning before I came downstairs and stuff. I blew my nose. My ears popped so bad. Like, I thought I was going to pass out. The pain hurt so bad. I was like, oh my God. Like, it hurt. I was like, holy shit. It hurt so bad. So there's something in my eye. My eyes itch really bad. So I did do the cake. I did the cake. And I pushed through. Friday was like a day from hell. I don't know if I have that clip anymore. If I have the clip, I might have deleted it. But mind you, it was like November, what's today? Today's the 13th, 12th, 11th, November 11th. It was 98% humidity and 80 degrees in Baltimore. And fondant and humidity don't like each other. My Rice Krispie treats were falling apart. My fondant was sweating so bad. Everything was sticking. I went to go pick up one of the Squishmallows that I made, and I had a big old fingerprint on it because of my modeling chocolate, because some of them I did in modeling chocolate. They were sweating. I'm like, oh no, we can't do this, because I did make I hadn't made marshmallow fondant in like so long, and I think I added too much powdered sugar to it, so it didn't have that elasticity in it, and it was like kind of tough to work with. And I was like, oh my god. And I didn't put Crisco in it. I was like, God, I haven't made marshmallow fondant in so long. I fucked it up. But I was mixing it in but I knew I was going to mix it with the regular fondant or the modeling chocolate. So I was just like, you know. But yeah. So the marshmallow fondant was sweating, and it was so sticky, and it was fucking shit up. And I was like, never in my life have I ever had to turn the AC on in the middle of November, or in November period. Have I ever, living in the state of Maryland, had to ever cut on the air conditioning, mainly for the humidity. It was fucking crazy. It was wild. Like, it was so wild to me. I'm like, this is insanity to me. Like, for real. You guys, so I am making the little squishmallow things out of Rice Krispie treats for this cake, right? Never would I have thought in fucking November I would have to deal with humidity. It is 94% humidity. It is 75 degrees. Everything is melted. Do you see how shiny this is? It's like, I just turned the AC on. I just went to move this. Look at this one. I'm afraid to even touch it. Like, it's so, like, look how sweaty that is. Like, these things are so sweaty. I have 2 more to do, but I'm like, never in a million years. This one's chocolate, so this one's not too bad. But it's like tacky and sticky, like all of these. I have cornstarch underneath of them. But look how sweaty they are. Like, I had to put cornstarch under them so they don't stick. And then they stuck to my table. You guys can't see, but they stuck to my table up there. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, never in a million years, in the middle of fucking November, or damn near the middle of November, did I ever think that I would have to worry about fucking humidity. I had to cut the air conditioning on because I wouldn't be able to put my cakes together. I'm not going to be able to. Because if everything is sweating, it's all just going to fucking fall apart. And I'm not about that life. So look, I moved this one. Look, my fingerprint is right there when I tried to pick it up. There's like a fingerprint in it. I'm trying to like smooth it out. But oh my gosh, like there's a fingerprint here. Like right there.
Alright, I want to see everyone now.
But oh my gosh, never in a freaking million years would I ever thought in November I'd have to deal with fucking humidity. Humidity and fondant don't go together, especially marshmallow fondant. And I made marshmallow fondant, so that's, I think that's why this one's sweating extra, because it's marshmallow. Oh my gosh, y'all. I'm like, this is redunculous. And it's bad enough I'm trying to push myself to make this cake because I didn't want to do it in the first place, and then being sick on top of it. Definitely not an ideal situation, but I'm pushing through. But yeah, so I pushed through making the cake. Like, I actually didn't feel bad, other than because my headache was gone. The pain and pressure in my ears were still really clogged, and I was just really congested. And at this point, not to be gross, but all the secretions that were coming out of my pie hole and my face hole were clear. So I'm just like, okay, so maybe it is just all this shit moving. She said that some of it may have coloration because it's just been sitting up there, but she says once it gets to moving, you'll be fine. So I was like, okay. So everything was clear. I mean, every now and then it would have like some yellow to it, but she says if it turns green, then, but she's like, if it's, it's, yellow or clear, you're fine. And I was like, oh, okay, She said if it's that real dark, that dark yellow greenish color, then you have an infection, which it hasn't been this whole time. So, but I mean, I felt okay, other than like all the head congestion and stuff. So I didn't pay it no mind, because I had got a nice hot shower. Like, I was in the shower for like, I don't know, 20 minutes, just sucking in the steam and shit that night prior. Anyway, you know me, I'm all over the place. So I got the cake done. It was a task, because there was one point I felt the sneeze coming, and y'all, my cake corner is like all the way over there. I ran all the way over here and started sneezing. And then it was like at one point, first of all, I can't even tell you how many times I washed my hands. And then at one point, I before I even started working on the cake, I was sitting here in my chair, and I'm like, oh. because I couldn't motivate. I think I started the cake around like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I already had the cakes baked and everything. I already had the buttercream. And I'm just sitting here like, I gotta do this cake. Ray, go do the cake. Ray, go do the cake. And I'm like, like I was just talking myself up to do this cake. And at one point I stood up and it was like somebody like turned a faucet on and like it just, this fluid just started gushing out. And I'm like, oh great. And so yeah. But so that was my Friday. I did the cake, got the cake done, and then I edited the video, which that's why I was up late. And then I slept only 4 hours. Like my body woke me up for no reason. I don't appreciate it, but it woke me up for no reason. And and I was up early yesterday. And then when I woke up though, I had a pain. It felt like all day someone was taking a fucking ice pick and stabbing me right here, because I can still feel it. I know it was just pressure, but then my ears unclogged. I woke up yesterday, my ears weren't clogged anymore. So it's like, okay, we can do this. I walked outside once yesterday. Soon as I walked outside, instant ear itching, instant throat, just instant face itching, eyes. So my eyes started itching like most of the day. Like they were so watery and glossy and like glassed over. I'm like, people are gonna think I'm fucked up on some shit, but I'm really not. And oh, and then wifey went and got my prescription. The prescription Flonase, it's 2 pumps in each nose at nighttime. She said it's okay, you know, to take your Claritin and Flonase at the same time. Y'all, that shit burned my face. I thought my eye hurt from the damn Claritin. But maybe it's just like finally reaching up. Maybe it was just like reaching up there. I don't know. But it hurt. It burned my face. I was like, that shit's strong. I took it last night and I was like, oh my God. So, and then Friday night also, I couldn't really taste anything. I still can't smell anything. I still can't really taste. I can only taste salty stuff. So, because Friday night I ended up making, there was chicken that was in the refrigerator that needed to be cooked. And I was like, okay. And I couldn't tell if it was bad because it had been in there for a few days. And I'm just like, and it was like the discounted 4 for $5 deal. And I'm like, is this stuff so good? I was like, I told Brayden, I said, smell this. And he's just like, what am I smelling? And I'm just like, but when I took it out of the package, it wasn't like extra slimy like you can usually feel if it doesn't feel good. I just threw that shit in the air fryer and I threw a bag of 90-minute chicken rice in the microwave. And Brayden was like, that rice is really good. And I was like, yep, I don't taste it. I was like, I was drinking so much water and stuff, but I couldn't taste it. It just felt like liquid. I couldn't taste nothing but salty. So I was making my husband's lunch because I thought he had to work yesterday, but it's next Saturday he works. And I was like, I was tasting it, or I was tasting it. I was packing his lunch and I was cutting pickles and I was like, whatever. And I could taste like the salt and the vinegar, but you couldn't taste like all the other flavors. So I was like, oh, because at this point, again, Friday, I didn't really eat shit because I had nothing seemed appealing to me. What little bit I did eat, I think I ate one of my pickled eggs, but I didn't eat, at that point, I still didn't even taste that. Nothing seemed appealing because I can't taste anything. And before everybody starts shouting, you have COVID, you have COVID. No, I took a COVID test. It came out negative. It's legit, whatever's going on. I think it's a little bit more or just another cold because I feel like this is like the 3rd time I've been sick this year. But yeah, so she, wifey, shit, I just totally lost my whole train of thought. So literally yesterday, I mean, I woke up, I felt better. I went outside yesterday, and like I said, my whole face started getting itchy. My ears cleared up. Like, they weren't clogged. There wasn't as much pain or pressure. All the pressure was, like, right here. I definitely feel better today. I'm still going out with my girlfriend, and I told her, I said, look, as long as you don't mind me sounding like this and being congested and having to blow my nose, I'm still down to go out. And she's just like, okay, me too. I'm excited. And I was like, all right. So we're still going out. She's picking me up at 10:45. It is now 7:46. I'm going to go make my second cup of coffee. I'm going to get a nice long hot shower and wash my hair. But I just wanted to make a video. Like I said, this is like a raw and uncut video. And I just wanted to let you guys know what's been up, where I've been. Like I said, I know I made a community tab, like, look, I'm sick or whatever. But yeah, I'm alive and kicking. I'm feeling better. I don't know. Sometimes it's just like when people are like, oh, you don't have a cold, it's just allergies. It's like, part of me is like, I feel like it's just a cold. But then part of me is like, well, I have been able to function for the most part other than Thursday. But Friday, yesterday, I've been functioning. I've just been tired and whatever. Like, I need to get so much shit done in this house, like clean up. But hubby has so many fucking projects ready for me, and I still need to make my little pumpkin earrings. I still need to make them and wear them to work. And then hubby gave me this big huge project that it was an order that somebody ordered over a month ago, and he's just now asking me to do it, and I'm like, what? I was just like, I wish I knew. And I have so much cleaning and organizing and shit to do. There's just not enough time for everything. And yesterday I was gonna record some Thanksgiving cupcake videos, but I'm like, I don't know. I was like, I wanted to do Thanksgiving cupcakes before Thanksgiving, and I was gonna do it yesterday, but I just decided to rest. I was actually on the phone with my, oh my God, why is this not staying up? I wanted to do them yesterday, but I ended up on the phone with my girlfriend, and we talked for a few hours, and I just rested, and it was probably for the best, like, to be honest. It was probably for the best that I just stayed resting. So, but yeah, I fell asleep in my clothes last night. I went upstairs, crawled in bed. I was watching the Omar Gosh vlog, and or his live stream where he was trying to get the scammer, like people who impersonate him to like get money from his viewers. So he was like impersonating one of the people that that he watches or whatever. Like, he was impersonating one of his fans, but it was actually him, and he was talking to two scammers live on a stream and going on the app that they told him to go on to like claim their prize, and like trying to send money, whatever. So I don't know, these scammers be crazy though. All right guys, I love you all oh so very much. Please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, please be kind, because you don't know what kind of battle someone's going through. So don't be a dick. I love you guys all oh so very much. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.